Levine, and today I'm going to do an excerpt from my book, Beating Bipolar. This is from part 6. It's called Retraining Your Mind. The mind is a powerful force. Positive thoughts can fuel your hopes, turn your dreams into reality, and facilitate your desire to feel love. Negative thoughts do just the opposite. They can be destructive and self-defeating and undermine your progress. Unfortunately, it's easy to wallow in negativity when you're battling a mental illness. You probably wonder every day why you're being constantly tested. When you're handling life's challenges through the prism of bipolar, it's natural to ask, why has so much adversity come my way? Indeed, failing at a goal, being rejected by a lover, or losing someone close to you is a big enough challenge for anyone, but even more so when you're trying to juggle that with your symptoms. You're primed for anger, confusion, and other self-defeating thoughts. But pessimism only interferes with your capacity to control your illness and otherwise function. It can make every simple task difficult. Many of my bipolar clients complain that they're overwhelmed and incapable of controlling their negative thoughts. I know their fears. When I was first diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I had no control over my emotions. My brain was constantly in overdrive from worrying, planning, thinking, and working too much. My brain darted all over the place. I'd vacillate between feeling elated and being depressed. I slept very little, which made the mania worse. Today, I see the destructiveness clearly. If I had realized earlier just how much my thoughts and actions were hurting me, I could have avoided several severe bipolar episodes. I maintain that we all have the power to train our hearts and minds to be positive rather than negative, so that we experience the world in a new, brighter light. We can do it with the words we choose, the images we create, and the thoughts we allow to enter our heads. We do it by following in the footsteps of successful people who are accomplished at training their minds. Business leaders move forward despite a poor economy. Teachers help students excel in the face of budget cuts and their jobs being at risk. Athletes believe they're going to win even if they're losing in the last minutes of play. In fact, they've learned to concentrate so hard on the task at hand that they're in the zone, so to speak, once they're in the game. 50,000 fans could be heckling or booing their team, but they stay focused on whatever it takes to win. They have self-control. As bipolar sufferers, we need to have the same discipline if we're to be optimistic and not pessimistic. Training your mind involves committing to change and routinely making choices. Too often when we face the anxiety of life, health concerns, overdue bills, problem with family members, or issues at work, we default to the same self-defeating rhetoric that has stymied us in the past. What if something goes wrong? What will I do? How can I handle it? By focusing on the what-ifs of life, our primary thoughts are bound to become negative. We're so beset by worry that our bodies are in constant stress. I've heard patients say things like the following: my mom died at 52, so I will too. My dad has diabetes, so I am going to have it too. And the doctor says I have 3 months to live, so I'll be dead in 3 months. Say it enough and it might just become reality. If that's you, you can either accept the self-talk that says you're too sick, too old, or too unhappy, or create a new reality. Perhaps you'll dare to believe that your health is getting better, that 60 is the new 40, and that happiness is just around the corner. Small changes in your thinking can mean big results in your behavior. When you learn to control your thoughts, you also make handling adversity a much simpler task. When the father of one of my young clients faced cancer, she convinced herself that her mother would soon follow suit. She even thought her mom would die. The idea was so ingrained in her head that she couldn't get beyond it, even though there was no evidence that her mother was sick, much less terminal. We worked hard at changing my client's thoughts by having her repeat, "My mom is healthy. I will have her for many years." It eventually took. She retrained her thinking to accept that her mother would be okay, which she was. Whatever the day brings, you can deal with it effectively by surrounding yourself with positive reinforcements from the start of the day. Read inspirational messages. Listen to life-affirming tapes. Be selective in the websites you surf. Load beautiful screensavers that suggest serenity. Throughout the day, make sure you immerse yourself in activities and objects that bring you joy and pride. It may not be as simple as it sounds, but you can create an environment that is conducive to healing and handling anything. The point is that you want to shield yourself as much as you can from life's everyday barbs. When the car in front of me stops short, forcing me to slam on the brakes, I no longer feel anxious or upset. I just take a deep breath and determine that a bad driver isn't going to ruin my day. Similarly, when the stock market crashes 400 points, I don't fret nervously over the money I might have lost. I just think what goes down today will be back up tomorrow. It's only a temporary setback on paper. Whatever mini or major crisis surfaces, by creating a buffer around yourself, you'll be in a much better emotional and mental place to handle it. Even if a bill collector calls or the bank notifies you that the mortgage payment is due, the situation doesn't have to overwhelm you. If I get bad news, I take another deep breath and tell myself, this is a piece of paper. The contents are only as important as I make them. I choose to feel good and make today positive. Then I get busy instead of focusing on the negative. Of course, neither you nor I can ignore life's interruptions, especially if they involve our medical, legal, or financial affairs. There can be consequences if we don't respond, but we can control how everything affects us. Will it be positive or negative? We choose. Thank you so much for listening to this excerpt, and I want to encourage you to check out my website below. And there's a lot of education where we can grow stronger, because those of us with mental health concerns need to find ways to continue and be positive despite any situation going on in our lives or in the world. Thank you so much for taking some time to check this out.